Isn't this a great opportunity to pick up tips and tricks? I have been taking notes. And I'd like to share some of the notes that I have with you and bring them into the talk that I'm going to give to you. For example, Bruce helped me understand how important preparation and practice were, and we're going to talk about that. Maureen, how to make someone happy. Don't we all want our customers to be happy? But what I'm going to take away is we are happiest when we are understood. I'm going to turn that on its head and suggest that we are happiest when we feel understood. I'm going to help you, give you some tips on how to make your customers feel understood when they don't get what they wanted the first time, and so they call you or it comes to your attention. Maureen also gave us a great idea of offer choices. That's a key to what I'm going to be talking about as well, as far as what mode you're in. And finally, our last speaker, Bill, channeling the energy, poise under pressure. I love that. Can we phone a friend? That sometimes is a great trick to help you step away from the stress, take a breath before you call that customer. What mode are you in? Let's talk about that. When things are going well and you're providing a service, but what happens when the service is not something you can do? You know the Rolling Stones song, "You can't always get what you want." Does working with a customer ever make you feel like you're trying to sing that to them? Yeah, you can't please everybody. Do you ever feel sometimes that you're pushed and pulled in one direction or another, and you can't please everybody? You can't please your spouse and your teenage kids. Whoa. Or your customers. Well, I'm going to suggest that we think about what mode are you in? Because as Kathy did my introduction, what mode you're in, how you say it, the spirit you're saying it to them can make all the difference in how they are feeling about what you're telling them. When things go wrong, it's an opportunity to contact that customer and actually come out with them having a better feeling about you. Let me explain. I'm a pharmacist. We fill drug orders. And sometimes the drug order can't be done because A, it's not available, B, there's something wrong with the way it was written, or C, maybe the patient is allergic to it. Now, the worst possible outcome is we just tell the patient, I don't have that, and let them go on their way. Can you imagine what happens when that patient shows back up at the doctor's office the next week? Well, how did that antibiotic I gave you work? Oh, I didn't get it. What do you mean you didn't get it? The pharmacy said they didn't have it. What? And of course, they're on the phone to us, chewing us, well, up one side and down the other. That's called blindsiding, okay? We try to avoid that whenever possible because not only is that physician, our customer, pissed off, they'll probably tell other physicians, that pharmacy, they don't follow through. So we have to contact the provider or the prescriber and say, I'm sorry, I can't do what you asked me to do. You can't always get what you want. So the mode that you're in when you make that call or send that fax makes all the difference. And I like to think of it as there's police mode and there's consultant mode. You know what the main difference between police mode and consultant mode is? Maureen, choices. Choices. Instead of saying, no, I can't do that. Or, no, you did it wrong. Or, nah, 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 you can't have that. You think back and say, okay, I can't do that, but what can I do? What can I offer? What other alternatives could there be? With pharmacists, we're the medication specialists. We should be able to give options. Let me ask you a question, Susan. If you had a choice between an essay question and a multiple choice question, which one would be easiest for you to answer?
Multiple choice.
Multiple choice? Anybody say, how about a show of hands? Anybody, who wants to do the multiple choice question? Okay. Who wants to do the essay question? Oh, we got a half and half, okay. For most people, If they have to recreate something and you said, no, you can't do that, now I'm back to square one and have to recreate that, it's harder, it takes more time. If I give somebody choices, then at least the wheels start turning. Oh, those are some choices. I like that one, but I really would prefer to do this one. So I suggest to my pharmacy students that you give the provider, the prescriber, 2 choices, because then it's never all or nothing. And you tell them why that this might be a good idea. This may be appropriate, or this may not, but would you consider these things that I can offer? An example might also be, if you can't provide a service, maybe you can refer them to somebody else. Now, you might think, well, that's a negative thing, I'm going to lose business, but they remember how you made them feel you were helpful. You couldn't take care of them today, but you actually took care of them because you referred them on to someone who could take care of them, instead of saying, nope, can't do it. Have you ever had that happen to you? Someone just says, nope, sorry. Maybe they're actually very polite. I'm so sorry to tell you, but I can't help you. Dead end. Now we got to go and do something else. Instead of, I'm sorry, I don't have that in stock, but I know someone who might. Let me call them, or let me give you the contact information. How does that make you feel? Better, better. At the very least, how you're doing it is part of it. Now, you might ask, how do I know which mode I'm in? And I tell my pharmacy students, you got to make sure that you always feel comfortable giving your name. Okay, here's a classic example of what I call a hit and run. Dear doctor, that antibiotic is not on our formulary. The pharmacy. Oh, you can actually walk up and see the doctor, see the note taped on the front of the chart, and see the smoke coming out of their ears as they call the pharmacy. Okay? So my suggestion to my pharmacy students is, if you're ever tempted to hide behind the pharmacy, guess what? You're in police mode. You're into hand slapping and saying no. Step over here. Put your thinking cap on. Be a consultant. What do you know best? Medicines. What can you suggest to them? Give them 2 options. Would you consider, would this be appropriate in your patient? And tell them why that you can't provide it. I'm sorry, this is not on formulary, but we have 2 other options that may be helpful to you. And this is one of them, and this is the other. Thank you, and put your name and contact information. If somebody is not comfortable giving their name, they probably are not in consultant mode. But giving your name and being willing to give your name builds that bridge. You're going to stand behind what you're saying. You're going to stand behind taking responsibility and initiate building a bridge to a relationship, so that they actually can come out of it thinking more highly of you than if something had gone right the first time. So, are you in police mode, or are you in consultant mode? Fellow Toastmasters and guests.